God, we have such bad discourses. We have such flawed ways of interpreting things. We have such. We are so in the dark, aren't we? We're so in the dark. We're so absolutely robbed of any kind of social, historical understanding of our world. Um, and so many people are just lost in the sea of symbology and appearance and all of this surface level nonsense. And that's kind of going to be the theme of the show uh, this week, folks. Because all of this shit, I can't believe. There's two things I can't believe that the online quote unquote left has been getting into recently. And the first one is U.S. military and unipolarity and U.S. American hegemony apologia. And military industrial complex. Leftists simping for the military industrial complex. I don't understand why or how you as a leftist could arrive at that conclusion. And that clip of Vaush saying that stupid shit, I want to cover it on stream instead of just talking about it on the pod. But how is Vaush a leftist? Someone please explain to me how Vaush is a leftist when he's literally pro-imperialism. Like, I have one question. I got called a tanky. I didn't word myself well. I was in Demon Mama's live chat on a stream a week or two ago. I got called a tanky. I got called delusional, and all of their like. She has this mod named Comrade Cat Pernicus, and that person has got to be a DGGer or something. I don't understand how we could have somebody of this caliber in Demon Mama's live stream, since Demon Mama hates Destiny, and his whole community thinks that she is just this evil, sinful, quote unquote bad for trans people, like crazy person, basically. That's what they think of her. And yet, oh yeah, we have this DGG type person moderating the YouTube chat for some reason, calling me delusional. All the regular old DGG type nonsense. All the Destiny, you're mentally ill, your IQ. They're making IQ jokes. Why, you as a leftist, why would you make an IQ joke? Are you kidding me? Like, here's the thing. It is cringy, and we are diverging a little bit off course with this little point, but it is cringy, and it is a problem, like cancel culture, blah blah blah, all that shit. There is a legitimate problem in that, and as relates to like Nietzschean concepts of ressentiment and bad conscience or slave morality and all these useful concepts, and the fact that it is neoliberal, and there are, with a lot of those types of people, there is a lot of nice racism, as you don't have to take it from me, as critiqued by Adolf Reed Jr., for example. And like Ben Burgess wrote a book about cancel culture. Like, there's a legitimate critique and a legitimate dialogue that should be had on the left about those things. But here's the kicker. If you are legitimately, genuinely a human being who is not ableist or bigoted or like transphobic, homophobic, racist, what have you, go down the list. If you're genuinely someone who's not like that, it's in your everyday speech. It's in your everyday vocabulary and how you carry yourself and your mannerisms and how you are as a person on a day-to-day, regular, normal basis. Like, if you're somebody who's genuinely not ableist, when you find people stupid or you disagree with them, you don't say that they're low IQ. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of genuine, really just like not a bigoted bone in my body type thing where you literally just don't think in those terms, that's based. We should bring more of that to the table. But that's not what these people are like. That's not what these quote unquote leftists who are online watching these streams and involved with these people in BreadTube are like. That's not what they're like at all, honestly. There's a lot of subtle. There's this, and it gets even less and less subtle as you go on, like Destiny's Twitter timeline. Like there's a lot of subtle bigotry in there. Just like it reminds me of school. It reminds me of the subtle transphobia in my classes. There's a lot of subtle. It just seeps in there a little bit, and it's like it's there, you know? It poisons the whole environment. And I was in that live chat of Demon Mom, and I did word myself poorly because I said, like, I support all of the anti-imperialist countries against American imperialism, which obviously means, like, in the actual conflicts, like in the wars that are happening, obviously I'm going to support a country that the U.S. military-industrial complex is attacking against that. Because I think that would be Lenin's concept of revolutionary defeatism, quote-unquote, which is basically like you root for your own military to lose an imperialist war, to support the proletariat of the other country and the proletariat in general, because like the poor are the people who fight the wars and the rich are the people who decide to go to war. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just proletarian internationalism. I was just having those basic takes and I was getting dogpiled. Not that I minded. And I literally told him, I don't mind this. I can handle all of you in a debate. I'll literally take on all of you at once in a debate with your stupid points and your dumb ways of thinking about it. And your stupid... Like, here's the thing. They think about it as if it's completely divorced. Like, and by it, I mean the issue of, like, imperialism and war and conflict and states. They think about those issues as if it is divorced from all material reality whatsoever. So all of the real-life situations that are happening on the ground for real, they act as though that's not the case, and it's all just conflicts where everyone is equally bad. Because it was literally that argument of, like, wait, but aren't all states bad? It's like, dude, that's not enough. That's like, here's the thing. They were saying that I'm idealist when I was laying out, like, theoretically, like, Lenin, like, this is why I believe this is why I see this way, this is why I'm an anti-imperialist, all this shit, you know, this is why I take this position on this issue, because in case you haven't noticed, like, these younger leftists, apparently they don't remember the Bush era that just happened a couple of decades ago, where we literally the Patriot Act, all this shit. And then they just want to, because what they want now that they have Biden and the neoliberal authoritarians in power is they want basically that part too, because they're so afraid. They have all this PTSD about January 6th as if it was that big of a fucking thing. And it's like, and everyone is so simping over American liberal democracy as if it's like the best possible. It's like, that's when you realize that the quote-unquote leftists are just right-wingers, but to the left of conservatives. It's the right wing, or it's the left wing of capital. That's what they are. They're the left wing of capital. And that's directly connected to my critique of American politics in general, how it's all just culture war bullshit, and the actual sector of economics and material advancement is sectored away from us, and we're told that, oh, the experts, the technocrats, the people who quote-unquote actually know what they're doing are supposed to handle the real-life material issues that actually affect the fucking ability of you to eat and feed your fucking children, and you're just supposed to argue about quote-unquote critical race theory or whatever all day. Let us handle the real shit. That goes hand in hand with my critique of that, because it's two wings of the same whole fucking dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. It's two wings of the same party, basically. It's the same people. It's the same people, slight margin of difference. Even slighter a margin of difference than I thought in my head, knowing, as I knowingly, without wanting to, but it's the last option we had, and I I was in that like bread tube mindset where it's like I'm afraid of the Trumpist authoritarianism. I'm afraid of that, so I have to vote Biden against that. But then what do we get? We get just authoritarianism, but it's blue this time. We're gonna raise all these budgets. We're gonna increase the state, the big state fucking authoritarian spying on you and shit. They're all spying on us, by the way. That didn't stop. Like, Patriot Act Part 2, that's what these people wanted. That's what they want, and I guarantee you, I'm not completely clear on the policy details right now, but they did increase some shit. So it's like, we are just in a trap in so many ways. You know what I mean? Like, the situation is unique, it's interesting, and it's horrible. It's unique, interesting, and horrible, you know? But Jesus Christ, if it's... I'm just giving you... I was in that chat and I was just giving common sense takes about, like, yeah, maybe we should oppose the U.S. military. Maybe we should realize that the U.S. is the biggest threat terroristically to the fucking peoples and cultures and nations of the world. Maybe we should wake up and look at the fucking massive list of U.S. interventions and the fact that no other country in the fucking face of the earth has a record like that, foreign policy-wise, of us. Like, maybe wake up to the reality of the situation instead of just living in your idealism world where all states are equally bad, quote-unquote. Like... It's because everything's been reduced. That's literally a symptom of the way that these people think, with everything being reduced to an individual moral decision. Like, as if you're picking, like, what flavor of slushy you want. That's how these people view politics. That's how they view every single fucking issue on the planet, is just whether or not they individually morally approve or disapprove of the isolated choice on a yes or no binary basis. It's like everything's been flattened down and rigidified into this singular structure, this linear plane binary choice of like an abstract machine, as Guattari would put it. Like that kind of like... It's like everything is a face to them. It's all faciality machines. It's all either yes, we accept it, no, we don't accept it. There's never any nuance or material like understanding or actually like analyzing a significant, specific, particular situation and coming to a material analysis of it. It's all in your mind, approval or disapproval, and then that's the end of the discussion. And if you diverge from their narrative, they put you in one of their villain boxes. If you diverge from their narrative, they call you a tanky, they call you a red fascist, they call you an apologist for dictatorships, they call you a genocide denier. They throw all of this shit at you. If you diverge from their narrative and you escape their naive, idealistic way of thinking and seeing the world, that's what they do. That is what they will do. Like, you see Vaush comparing that guy to Nazis, comparing his argument to Nazis, literally just because he got that shit from Destiny, because Destiny's a stupid fucking liberal, who, like, whatever, dude. But, like, oh my god, are you really not questioning the narratives around Syria? Are you really not questioning that? These people don't have any critique of the military-industrial complex. They don't have any structural, substantive critique of any of the power structures. They just want to manage it. We just want to manage it. We just want to make it nicer for the minorities in the imperial core. It's all about that. We just want to be the little bug people, managers of society, fucking pulling the strings, while everyone else, all the normal people, are reduced to puppets. That's what these people want. That's how they see the world. That's how they see politics. It's just... oh, everything must conform to my individual ideal whims and my own individual moral feelings, which are already conditioned from birth and aren't really mine to begin with, but I feel so attached to them because this is the only political action I can possibly fucking perceive in my blinded worldview, because we've lost the levers of power decades before any of us were born, probably. So it's like, what? Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I didn't even know I was going to go into this ramble. But I'm literally just ranting now, because it's like, I'm so frustrated at the sheer state of things. Like, it just grinds my gears to no end. It grinds my bones to dust. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. You get put in their villain box and they throw you away. They think, oh yes, you're delusional, you're crazy, you're not to be trusted, you're not to be listened to. Back to the CIA talking points. Back to the narrative. Back to the American unipolar hegemony. Back to the imperialism. Back to bombing children. Back to sucking the cock of the Democrats. It's bullshit. Stop calling yourself a leftist, or God forbid you call yourself a socialist if this is your politics. It's stupid. Just call yourself a lib. You're a liberal. Derogatory. It's a derogatory word on my stream. There's that, and then there's the neo-pronoun thing. That's the other part. It's like, what? What? This is the left? These are leftists? Well, Destiny is, like, not. But that whole crowd of, like... Here's the thing you gotta understand. Pragmatism, schmagmatism, whatever, blah, 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 all that bullshit. Whatever you want to say about, oh, you're being too idealistic. Dude, trust me. Living inside this moral vacuum where you just think, oh yes, all states are bad, devoid of all material context, is the pinnacle, the apex of idealism. That is the apex of idealism. That's what idealism actually means, philosophically. That's actually a good use of the term. Not just holding true to Leninist tenets, even if I'm not really a fucking tanky. If you want to call me a tanky for proletarian internationalism, I guess I'm a fucking tanky now. I'm not afraid of being labeled like that. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. Go ahead and sling it at me. I don't give a shit, dude. Put me in your box. I don't care. Because here's the thing. We have to be that kind of people. Like, we have to be able to just be like, yeah, dude, fine. Because, here's the thing about it. If you have enemies, it's kind of not good to have enemies. Because that means that, like, you are actively, like, hating others like that. Like, just let them hate you and just, like, let it be. You know what I mean? Like, just like, float away with that. It's your problem, not mine. That's the mindset. That's the Sigma mindset that we need to have going forward. Because it's like, fuck all of these. Fuck all of them. Like, when I'm right, I know I'm right. Like, it's like, I don't need to be told and talked down to by people who probably were Nazis 6 months ago. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I just don't need, like, I've been interested in politics for years. Like, I've been following and learning about the history of all of it and like listening to all this shit for years. So it's like, I don't need to be lectured by some moderator on some stream that I'm being unpragmatic or some nonsense like that. Like, I'm sorry, it's just stupid. Like, it's just a bad critique. Like, you just don't know who you're dealing with, and I can't tell why people don't know who I am yet. I have 700 Twitter followers now. I'm growing. I have 300 YouTube subscribers now. There's like 100 people in my Discord. It's all growing. It's all uphill from here forever, like I've always been saying. So how the fuck do these people not already know who I am and like what I'm about? Like what is the issue? What is really the problem there? Like, why is it that BreadTube and all these places, it's like this big club and they all like, it seems like they all read this, they all get the same talking point and they all just parrot each other's opinion. Like, I don't understand where all these fucking people get the idea that the American military is somehow a force for good in the world. How the fuck do you get that? Where the hell do you get that idea from? That isn't a government agency. Like, what? Are you sure? Like, what? And I've heard people say that who aren't even Americans. They'll say that who aren't even Americans. What the fuck? Like, how is this the left? Like, I'm just so confused, and still, like, it's been 20 minutes I've been rambling on this point, but I'm so confused how that's a leftist position now. It's horrifying to me. Like, what? Really? It's no memory. People who live with no memory and no historical sense of belonging to time. there's no like there's no memory of what happened with the Bush administration or any of that. Like, I wish it wasn't the case, but Vaush and Destiny did more damage to online discourse than good to it. They did more damage to online discourse than good to it. I wish that wasn't true, but it is true. Cause like they're the reason why this shit is flying now. And like, especially in an era like now where it's like highly probable that like we just killed the president of Haiti, and like there's all this unrest in Cuba right now, and the the elected president of Peru is having his election contested by the opposition, the fascist opposition. Like, it's just, we live in this era where like Latin America is like burgeoning socialist movements, and historically like longevity throughout their socialist movements are there. Our government and its allies are in cahoots trying to overthrow that entire system still. Like, that's a project that has continued since the 70s and the 60s with Allende in Chile.